The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
Waking humanity, one soul at a time. This is the World You Don't Know radio show with your host, Nick O'Connell.
Now, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're very welcome along to this week's edition of The World You Don't Know with myself, Mick O'Connell. And I do have a guest lined up. I've got Trevor Eivers waiting in the wings. Now, we didn't have any news tonight, folks, as you would have heard. It's bang on 9 o'clock and no news has played, so we've got the full hour here. I do have a guest coming on, as I said. I've got the wonderful Trevor Eivers coming on from Open Minds Island Conference. He was one of the gang responsible for the Awaken Aware in South East Island Facebook page, which started up maybe a year and a half ago now, but the page grew exponentially and got a lot of fans and has a lot of respect around the country amongst the troop movement. And last February, whatever way you pronounce that, Trevor put on an event, him and his colleagues. Not just Trevor, there was a whole bunch of them involved. Trevor can name them all when he comes on in a minute if he likes. And they put on an event, a 2-day event at Dooley's Hotel in Waterford. And I have to say, it was an absolutely fantastic event. It was a massive, massive hit. And I was there for the 2 days of the event, and it was packed. Good full house. And some great speakers, some brilliant speakers. And I met some wonderful people down there too. And it was such a success, he's decided to do it all again. And more power to him. Anyway, I'm going to go straight to Trevor. Good evening, Trevor.
Good evening, Mick. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Trevor. How are you?
I'm fantastic. And yourself?
Not bad. You're looking well, I must say. You're looking very well, even though you're on the radio. Now, Trevor, I was just mentioning that. I don't know if you could hear me talking there while you were waiting in the wings. I was just telling the listeners that yourself and your colleagues last year, or just over a year ago now, started up at the Awaken Aware in the South East Island page. And what grew out of that was the Open Minds Island Conference that you put on in Dooley's Hotel in Waterford. And I remember when you rang me well over a year ago now, one September afternoon while I was out shopping, and you were asking me advice on ticket prices and stuff like that for this event, and I had no experience of it myself, but you were a bag of nerves going into it, and fair play to you though, you just pulled a blind and it was an absolutely fantastic event. And you're on tonight because you're doing it all again.
Doing it all again, and this time 3 days.
And it's going to be a much bigger event. Yeah,
3 days packed full of truth, knowledge and awareness.
And with the world that we live in right now, Trevor, you know, these conferences go on all around the world, I suppose, you know, but in this country they're a fairly new thing. Now, there was the Basis conference that you attended there with John Payne there a couple of weeks ago up in Dublin, and unfortunately we couldn't hook up for that event, and family circumstances got in the way of that. But I don't know what kind of an event that was, whether it was good, whether it was, I don't know. But you don't really see that many events like that, and that wasn't that well advertised. I didn't know about it until you mentioned it to me. I hadn't a clue what was going on. But your event, I think, is getting a good bit of notice, you know, particularly amongst the troop movement around Ireland. You know, you've gained a lot of respect off an awful lot of people. You know, you're fairly well known now at this stage.
Well, I think because the first one was such a success, hopefully that will stand to us now for Open Your Minds 2 next March. This time around, we've organised it a little bit earlier. You know, last year it wasn't launched until November the 11th. And as you said already, it was in February. Now this year, it's actually out a month. So the 4th of September was the launch. So tickets have been available now 4 weeks. And it's on a week later this time around. It's on in March. Can you hear me?
I can hear you again, Trevor. You sort of cut out there for a second.
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's grand. I can hear you too, Trevor.
Yeah, so this time round, hopefully the fact that it was a success, the first one was a success. This next one, Open Your Minds 2, is, I'm just saying there that we've launched it earlier. Last year it was November the 11th was the launch. This year, I think it was the 4th of September there, 4 weeks ago. So tickets have been on sale already 4 weeks.
So you have a good bit of a head start compared to the last event. So do you think this is going to be a bigger event? Do you think you might sell more tickets? And if you have the tickets on sale now, have you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can now, Trevor. Yeah, you cut out again for some reason. I don't know if it's your end or my end. I can't really tell. The question I asked was there tickets, are they on sale at the moment, yeah?
Yeah, tickets have been on sale since the 4th of September.
And how's that going? Is that going well? Is it?
So yeah, they're selling very well.
Compared to the last time?
Yeah, I mean, because like we've had already the Open Minds Conference 1 was such a success, and it was well attended, and the people that attended really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was. It was a blast of a weekend, now I have to say. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, so you know yourself, like we'd be very hopeful that most of the people that attended the first one will not only come back but bring their friends along this time as well.
That'd be brilliant. Now, as for speakers, Trevor, give us a little taste of the lineup for the OMIC too.
Okay. Well, the first thing, I mean, the whole purpose of the Open Minds is it is what it says in the tin, you know, to open a few minds. And the ethos of it is like, you know what, to create knowledge and awareness, because, you know, rebellion, revolution is about reading the book, you know, rather than sticking your hand in the air and whatever, your fist in the air and shaking it. So it's very much about educating ourselves and gaining knowledge and awareness. And with that in mind, we have 18 speakers spread out over the 3 days. You still with me?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm listening, Trevor. Yep.
Okay. So we have 6 speakers each day. So we have different themes this year as well. Like, I mean, on the Friday we have focus on law, banking, evictions, and so on, Friday afternoon. Then Friday evening we have the focus on health topics, for example, big pharma conspiracy, natural cures for cancer. Some of the speakers there, some fantastic speakers. We have, just to go through them, you're starting off Ger Banks. It's the first talk. I haven't the list of speakers here in front, or the actual talk themselves. Ger Banks is first. Do you know Ger? Have you come across Ger before?
I've seen a video that he has on YouTube, yeah. I've seen it. He put a video about the law.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to watch it.
I'll just get the name of his talk. Hold on for a second. No. So it all kicks off on Friday. Doors open 1. The first speaker is Ger Banks at 1:35. And the title of his talk is Restoring the Knowledge and Ancient Wisdom of Ireland and its Role in the Evolution of the Conscious World. So
that sounds very interesting, all right.
It does, yeah. So Ger's first up. After Ger is a very good speaker, another Cork man like Ger, Barry Fitzgerald. And he's going to be speaking about history, law and banking. That's from 1445 to 600. So 3:15 to 4. Then after that, at 4:30, we have Brian McCarthy. Brian is a man who's been very much involved in the anti-eviction task force and other groups around the country, and he's going to be speaking about evictions in Ireland. After that, we have David Walsh. David is going to be talking about the banking scam and how that's all a scam. Then we have a break for an evening break, and once you come back, it's 7:30, and Damien Mooney, very knowledgeable guy, he's going to be talking about the politics of food and healthcare. So he'll be getting into the big pharma conspiracy.
Right, that'd be a very interesting talk, that one.
Yeah, and he's going to be touching on the pros and cons of vaccines and the agenda behind that, mostly cons, as we know. So that's Damien. And after Damien is followed by Bernadette Bowen. I don't know if you've heard of Bernadette.
I haven't, no. Enlighten me.
Yeah, Bernadette's been on the OYM with
and what's her field?
A couple of times.
And what's her field, Trevor? What's her field?
Yeah, so she's written a couple of books. She's cured herself naturally from cancer. And she's a very awake lady, very well spoken, very intelligent. So the title of her talk is Improve Your Health Naturally. So she's going to be telling her story. So that's Friday. As you can
well, that's a good lineup. That's a lineup that I had. They're all names that I hadn't heard before. So that's all fresh compared to last year. That's a brand new lineup. Yeah,
and they're all Irish. All of these speakers, like, these are the best. You know, some of the best speakers in the country. And like they all flow. All the talks like have been structured in such a way that they flow into one another.
Yeah.
You know, like to start off with like Ger Banks talking about like the wisdom of ancient Ireland, then history, law and banking, evictions, then the banking scam. And then in the evening we have like health, like as I mentioned, like the big pharma, conspiracy, vaccines, and natural cures for cancer. So that's the Friday. And then on the Saturday, by the way, mixed into all the speakers, it's not only eating speakers. We have also yoga this year, so we hadn't that the first time round.
Oh, that'd be good. I've never done yoga now, but I mean, I'd be open to it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's worth a try. And so the whole purpose, like we have yoga, we have meditations, we have music, we have the shamanic drumming. And we had the meditations and the shamanic drumming for the first one.
You had that last year as well, yeah, and that was quite good as well. I really enjoyed it. Yeah,
like the reason like we're mixing in all like this type of stuff as well is that the ethos of the event itself is to uplift people's kind of hearts and minds and spirits, you know. Because like even though like information is neither positive or negative, like it's just knowledge, and it's very important to be aware and to gain this knowledge. But at the same time, some of the knowledge can be kind of like hard, kind of hitting information, and like there are in the truth movement, like there's a lot of rabbit holes that you can go down, as you know yourself.
Yeah.
And some of those rabbit holes, like it can be kind of, I know from my own experience, it can be disempowering, where you kind of feel overwhelmed by all the information. And so it's very important to actually like process it, you know. And because if we're not in a good place ourselves, like mentally and physically.
I know, I hear exactly where you're coming from there now, because I mean that was my exact experience when I got into all of this, like back like 10, 15 years ago. I wasn't in a good place, so it probably wasn't the best time, or maybe it was the best time for me to hear that, but it had a massive impact on my personal life. Massive impact.
Right. Yeah.
I don't regret any of it, don't get me wrong. I have absolutely zero regrets. You know,
it's the same. It's the same for me. I mean, like at times, you know, it's basically kind of like it grinds you down at times, because
it does grind you down. There's no doubt about that.
Like,
it does.
The world is going to hell in a handbasket, you know, and it basically what that does is it disempowers you. I know it did me for a long time, and it's kind of like, you know, I've come to the conclusion now. You know, that's one of the biggest brainwashing strategies of the elite, to take your power away. To actually, you know, the whole thing is, oh, little old me, what can I do, you know?
But you know yourself, Trevor, that little old me, what can I do? And, you know, David Icke is someone who always uses that quote as well. He has it in his books and stuff like that. And he's right. A lot of people do think like that, but you're the living proof that that's not the case.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. And it's about taking our power back. And I think, I mean, I attended a couple of conferences this year already. I've been at Ian O'Crane's. I'm still here. Can you hear me?
I can, yeah. You cut out there again. I'm going to blame you for these cutouts, because I don't think it's my end.
Okay.
So I'm going to blame you because you're so far away.
Blame away.
Yes. the broadband and Waterford is atrocious.
Yeah. But what I was saying was, I don't know what you caught it at. I mean, I was at a couple of conferences this year so far.
Right.
AV8.
Oh, did you go to AV8 as well? You did?
Yeah.
Where was that held?
That was over in Milton Keynes and in the UK.
Oh, right, you've travelled to the UK. And tell me, how good was that? Was that good, was it?
Yeah, well, it was kind of the same as the bases, the Ireland Awakens one a couple of weeks ago.
Right, was that a good... I
found that, like, they are very good, and they're brilliantly organised, and the speakers, like, are fantastic. But the one thing negative that I kind of... Not negative, but as an improvement to bring to our one, I think we had this already in the first one, is that, like... I found myself anyhow when I was there listening to talk after talk of kind of like, you know, you're hearing about paedophilia in the government, you're hearing about satanic abuse, you know, you're listening to stories of children being bombed in Syria and all this. And a lot of it, like, I know personally myself that, you know, it's not a good feeling, and it kind of again, kind of brings you down more than anything else, you know.
But is that not stuff that you already knew going into that, Trevor? I mean, you've read about this kind of stuff. You're quite aware that this goes on.
A lot of it would be, but like what I'm trying to get across is like the ethos of the open minds is like we would like to think that people would come and gain knowledge and awareness, but also leave uplifted, as well.
That was the one thing I noticed about your last event. The last thing you put on was a really uplifting thing, with Mark Bayerski and all that, like the meditation and then the music, and
That's right.
It's just everybody left there, like, we were all buzzing when we left. We really were. Everybody was on a high, a natural high, leaving that hotel that weekend.
That's right. I mean, like, yourself, like, it's okay saying, providing the information, for example, about like what I just mentioned, the paedophilia and the satanic rituals and the the wars and all that. But unless you have some solutions as well, like what can we do? I mean, there's one thing. Okay, like we kind of know that, but once we know, like, what do we do from this point on? And I think we very much keep that in mind. That, like, we don't want people leaving the event thinking, open minds, oh geez, you know what, that was such a downer.
That's the last thing you want, because if you try to do a third one, they won't turn up.
Exactly. So you get all this information, you go home and you go, oh Jesus Christ, what can I do? Like that's like the world is going to hell in a handbasket. And sort of like we kind of know, like, maybe not so much of the specifics, but in general, yes. But like, it's all about, okay, if someone leaves open minds to think, okay, right, I'm going to make a change to my life. And
isn't that where it starts, Trevor? It does. It starts with yourself, and it really does.
Exactly. So once you start making those changes to your own life and like set an example to the world around you, then that's where you step into your power. As you know yourself, and you attended the first one, that there was a wonderful, beautiful energy about the whole weekend.
And there was as well, even with the people we met out in the bar, like the Welsh choir that came over, and the crack we had in that place that night was absolutely brilliant.
Exactly, it was. And I just then took it back to the to the conference. The lineup is that, like, we have the yoga, the meditations, the music, the shamanic drumming, and not only that, like, a lot of the speakers like are actually focused on solutions as well, which is very, very important. So I think, like, it's a mix of everything, and that's what I'm saying, like, it's truth, knowledge and awareness. It's all three. You know what I mean? And it's not just focused on the negative. That, okay, I mean, I'm not either type of person that I'm not kind of like one of these people that know this, kind of a new agey type of person that doesn't look at the negative. Like, I still think, like, we need to shine a light on the dark to make it light, Well, true. You can't shine darkness onto light. That's one thing you can't do. So exactly. So, like, we can't be ostriches either. Like, there's no point in sticking your head in the sand and hoping it's going to be all right. Like, so, but it's a balance. I suppose that's where I'm coming from with the conference. It's a balance as well. Like, even on the Saturday, we have a quiz thrown in as well on the Saturday evening. So we're going to do, I don't know what the story is. It seems to be okay at my end here.
Everything looks okay. No, I know that, but everything looks okay at my end. That's why I'm thinking it might be your end. Right. But it's either one of our ends. It's probably the NSA somewhere in the middle. Listen, Trevor, I need to go to my first set of ads, so do you mind hanging in the wings there for a couple of minutes?
Yeah, sure.
That'd be brilliant. Folks, I'll be back in 2 minutes with Trevor Eivers. Talk to you all very shortly.
Broadcasting to Lucan, this is Liffey Sound, 96.4 FM.
Now, folks, you're very welcome back. Trevor, you're still with me, are you?
I'm here, Mick. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, yeah, I can indeed. Now, Trevor, that's the Open Minds Ireland 2018 conference in March. What date exactly in March is it?
It's on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th of March.
The 2nd, the 3rd and the 4th.
3 days.
Okay, that's the Friday, Saturday and Sunday.
Do you mind if we just go through the rest of the speakers?
Fire away.
Yeah. So we have yoga Saturday morning, starting off at 8:15. But as we go along, like, the first speakers proper are Alan and Steve, OYM Radio. So you know the guys.
I do indeed. Great bunch of lads.
So they're talking about the wake-up process and the fluid belief system. After Alan and Steve, we have Aisling Fitzgibbon. You know Aisling?
The girl against fluoride, yeah. That'll be an interesting talk as well.
Yeah, so she's talking about the evolution of activism. So then we have lunch. After lunch, we have the very funny, those conspiracy guys.
Oh yeah, they're very funny, yeah.
Yeah, so they're a bit of light-hearted touch to the event as well. After that, we get into some corruption. We have John Wilson.
Oh, the Garda whistleblower.
Yeah, Garda whistleblower. So he's going to be telling his story.
Oh, that'll be interesting. Definitely don't want to miss that one.
Mick, can you hear me?
I can, yes, Trevor. You cut out again.
I'm not sure the story why. Sorry about that.
No, don't apologise. These things happen.
So after that, you caught John...
John Wilson, yes. Who's up after that
John
then?
Wilson. Right, okay. After that, Tom Ryan. So
Tom Ryan, right.
So Tom's going to be talking about the truth about the human mind. So
that'll be very interesting.
Yeah, Tom was one of the highlights, as you know, last year.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Tom's speech last year, and that was very good. He was talking about personal sovereignty and...
That's right.
Stuff
Yeah,
like
he's
that was
brilliant. He was the highlight, I think, of last year's. And
he's been a guest on this show several times as well. Someone must get onto the show as well in the very near future.
Can you hear me?
I can, Trevor. Yeah, I don't know why you keep cutting out. Was there something wrong with your microphone or something?
There shouldn't be.
Right.
Shouldn't be. It's been a while since I've Skyped though, so I'm not so sure.
Right. Sure, look, these things happen, folks.
I'll keep going until...
Yeah, just keep going, Trevor. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so Tom is a bundle of knowledge. He's been on your show, so you know Tom.
I do indeed.
Yeah, so after Tom, we have... Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you now, Trevor.
Can you hear me okay?
I can indeed. Yeah, you continue where you left off. And you mentioned John Wilson, the Garda whistleblower. He's going to be there on the Saturday giving a talk.
Yeah, so after John, we have Tom Ryan.
Okay.
All right, so you know Tom.
I do indeed.
Well, Tom was the highlight of Open Minds 1. Man is a wealth of information, knowledge, unmissable. I'm sure you'd agree.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. So then we have... we're going to show a movie. It's a 30-minute documentary, Wild Atlantic Waste. Have you come across it?
I'm aware of it, but funny enough now, I haven't actually seen that yet, so that'll be interesting. Are you still there, Trevor?
I'm here, yeah.
All right, no worries. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Yeah. Anyway, that's Tom Ryan. So who's up after that then?
So we have the documentary you mentioned.
Right. The Wild Atlantic Waste, is it? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
What's that about? Briefly, what's that about?
It's directed by Nigel O'Sullivan. I'll just go into the... Hold on. I'll tell you exactly what it's about now. It's about the red zone of pollution in the Shannon Estuary and beyond.
Right.
Right. It shows the destruction of nature in the name of corporate profit with a total disregard for human health. And
this is in the Shannon Estuary, is it?
Yeah, it is produced by a guy, his name is Mark Keogh, and it's directed by Curryman, Nigel O'Sullivan.
Oh, that should be interesting, all right.
Now I wanted to shout out to Nige as well. Nige has actually helped an awful lot with Open Minds too, and he's done some promotional videos as well.
Now, when you say Nige, we're not talking about Nige out of Love Hate, no?
What's that?
We're not talking about Nige from Love Hate.
No.
It's another Nige. That's not.
So that's that, and that's the documentary. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Trevor. Yeah, keep going.
So after the documentary, we have a live feed. Max Egan. So you know Max. Everyone knows Max.
Yeah. Now, Max is doing a live feed from? I think he's probably somewhere in South America, will he?
I think he's in Mexico. He's at a conference in Acapulco, Mexico, the week before, and it was just going to cost too much. It just wasn't feasible to get him in person.
It would have cost a fortune to get him over, I suppose.
It cost an absolute fortune. Yeah. So we still wanted him, and he wanted to be part of the event as well. So I think the live feed will work. I mean, I've seen it work before. We were at a consciousness concert, myself and John Payne as well, last March, and the live feed worked really well. So he's going to be coming in the live feed. So after that, we have the Shamanic Drumming. After that, we have the quiz I mentioned already, and we finish up them with some music. Water's Edge, they were the band that were actually playing the first one as well.
Yeah.
So that's Saturday. So basically, it starts at 8:15 with the yoga and finishes at 10. And so it's a long day.
That's a long day, all right, for Saturday.
It's a long day, but people can kind of cherry pick and kind of come and go.
But that's it. That's the way people were doing it the last time, weren't they? It's not as if people were going to sit there for every single speech and whatnot. People were cherry picking what they're interested in the most and who they wanted to see and stuff like that, you know.
Exactly. But people say to me, you know what, that's an awful lot packed in maybe is too much. But the way I look at it is, and this is why it's 3 days, it only comes around once a year, you know. And we basically pack in everything that we can when it does come around. So that's Saturday. So on to Sunday then. So Sunday we have yoga again, yoga morning with Tracy. First speaker on the Sunday is Danielle Leverte. You've heard of Danielle?
I've heard of Danielle Leverte, yes.
Yeah, she's been on, again, OYM radio with Alan and Steve a number of times.
And what's her subject matter? What does she talk about?
She's talking about the messengers of remembrance.
Right.
And Danielle has been... just check out her bio here rather than making it up. She first became a recognisable face in the alternative community with her YouTube blog. So she was asking awkward questions to the elite members of society.
Right.
And then she became a guest speaker around the UK and quite a controversial figure at times. She says this herself, but she certainly gets people thinking and talking. But since then she has progressed, as she said here herself, and she's delved into more metaphysical and spiritual elements of life. Now what she does is she's developed her psychic abilities and works full-time as a psychic energy reader, life healing practitioner, metaphysics teacher and writer. So that's Danielle.
A good CV there.
A good CV. So after Danielle in the morning, like the first three in the Sunday actually are all the overseas speakers. We have Mark Devlin on next. I think you might have...
I met Mark Devlin at the last one. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Mark Devlin is you're always going to get something new with him because the music industry is changing so much.
That's right.
And there's so much going on. And even I do follow him on Facebook, and he finds it very hard to keep up sometimes with what's going on.
Are you still with me?
Oh, I am indeed, Trevor, yes. I was just saying there just before you...
His talk is music as mind control.
Yeah.
So you should be familiar with Mark. He was on your show as well.
I had Mark.
He?
I did.
Mark.
I didn't did. I had Mark on my show, and I'm due to get him back on as well soon.
Yeah. So then after Mark, then we have lunch. We have then in the afternoon we have Ole Demagard. You've heard of Ole?
I've had Ole on my show, and I'd like to be looking forward to meeting Ole. Or Ollie. His name's actually Ollie. I think people call him Ollie.
Is it Ollie?
Ollie, yeah, okay. Ollie, yeah.
Okay, and he's he's, as you know. He talks about terrorist events. Can you hear me, Mick?
I can, yes. I was just telling the listeners there because you popped out again. I was just saying, like, when it comes to editing this, I'll just be able to take all these long bits out, you know.
Yeah, great job.
I'm getting a text in there off one of my listeners, Philip. He's just mentioned that Tom Petty has been found dead. And we're just talking about Mark Devlin there and music and stuff like that. So,
Jesus, there you go.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's a mad word the last couple of days, isn't it? It's crazy.
Now, my son is at the texting in. He says, I'm listening in, and it keeps cutting out when he mentions that word. Now, I don't know if he's listening in now, but what word is he talking about? There's apparently some word you keep saying, Trevor, that's having an effect on the Skype. So we'll have to find out what the word is, and you can please stop saying it.
Right, all right.
So, listen, what I want to do, Trevor, right? Go on, you finish off there, Trevor, because you have a couple more left to mention.
Can you hear me?
I can, Trevor, yes.
Right, so the last couple of speakers, so I have Ole. After all is Mary Graham. You with me?
Yep.
Yeah, so she's basically sound waves and the magic of vibrational bliss.
Right.
Sound therapy through healing.
Oh, sounds very interesting.
Yeah, so that's going to be, like, there's a couple of hard-hitting speeches there, talks, and the Sunday, with Danielle, Mark, and Ollie.
Right.
So, like, we're finishing off, with kind of, like, more of, I suppose, easy, kind of chilled out kind of talks, and Mary is brilliant, and you get a right buzz off her. Like, she's basically going to send vibrations that's going to take the roof off Dooley's hotel. Right,
that should be very good then.
She's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So all of these bios, by the way, if you go to our webpage, openmindsconference.com, you'll find a bio of each each participant at the conference.
Right.
So
and that's on the OMIC.com website.
Cian Foley, he's talking about Don't Eat for Winter. Cian is basically a guy who's lost, I think it's 5 or 6 stone. He's completely transformed his life through eating naturally.
Eating proper food, as opposed
to. Yeah,
to.
great story. And then we're finishing with Anthea Fenton, lovely lady. She's going to do kind of an audience participation session, the title of which is Working Collectively to Bring About Change. So she calls herself the Empowering Soul. So it's basically finishing with kind of a group thing where everyone comes together to see what we can offer as solutions, you know.
Right.
And then the very finish then, which we did the first conference, is finish up with a meditation with the man himself, John Payne. So John, as you know, also compares as well, MCs the event. So that's it. That's the 3 days.
It's a good lineup, I have to say. Now it's going to be an absolutely cracking event. And I will
it's something to look forward to. You
Definitely,
know,
yeah.
It seems like a bit away now. It's 5 months exactly from now, but it's something to look forward to. You know.
Right. Apparently, that word you kept saying was terrorist. There, I said it, folks. But anytime you mention the word, you cut out. But you never know. Listen, Trevor, I want to go to my last set of ads. When I come back, I want to play that clip that I sent to you earlier on that video, because I want to have a little chat to you about that as well, right?
All right, Mick.
So,
perfect.
If you don't mind waiting in the wings for a couple of minutes, and I'll be back to you in 2 minutes, and we play the video.
Sure, Mick.
All right, folks, we'll be back in 2 minutes with Trevor Eivers. Talk to you very shortly.
You're listening to Liffey Sound, www.liffeysoundfm.ie. Listen online. Community radio at its best.
Now, folks, you're very welcome back. Now, before I go back to Trevor, I'm going to go back to Trevor now in a couple of minutes. Just one or two things I want to mention. First of all, the text number, which is 087 062 7138. The Facebook page is called The World You Don't Know on Facebook. Now, another thing I want to mention is men's sheds. Now, I don't know if many of you out there have heard of the Irish Men's Sheds Association. It's a brilliant charity. It's nationwide. There's 401 or 402 men's sheds nationwide now, and I just want to give a couple of them a mention. Now, I am involved with the Irish Men's Sheds Association as a volunteer, and I actually work at a men's shed in Dublin 12 as well, of which I'm a member. But one of my roles as a volunteer is visiting other men's sheds and becoming a point of contact between them and the main organisation. Anyway, a couple of sheds that I visited lately, and I just want to give them a shout out. One is the Mojo men's shed up in Jobestown and Tallaght. Absolutely fantastic men's sheds. If you live in the Tallaght area, you know, and you want to join a men's shed, go to these men's sheds. They're great. You can go on to mensshed.ie to find out where there are men's sheds in your local community, but they're all over Ireland. And they're a great resource. They're a great place for men to come together, just for the camaraderie, and you know, you can make stuff as well out of wood and whatnot. But the core ethos of the men's sheds is where blokes stand shoulder to shoulder. You know, if you have problems, you can hear them amongst their mates and stuff like that. And they're a great idea. So I want to give the men's shed up in Tallaght, the Mojo men's shed in Tallaght a mention, and the one in Boot Road in Clondalkin a mention as well, and the Clondalkin men's sheds, and another one I visited there last week, which is the one in Lower Ballyfermot, the Ballyfermot men's shed. Give them a shout out. As I said, they're great organisations, and if you want to join a local men's shed, just go on to mensshed.ie and you can find your local men's sheds. As I said, they're all over the country. Just wanted to mention that. Now, Trevor, you're still with me, you are?
I'm still here. Can
right,
you hear
now listen, I can indeed, Trevor. Now listen, I want to play this clip now. I have it here on my Facebook page. Folks, I want you to have a listen to this now. There was a shooting in Las Vegas today. Now, we talk about false flags on this show all the time. It's going on around the world. Now, one thing they want to do in the United States is they want to disarm the Americans, because if you want to bring in a one world order, America needs to be disarmed. And you have to remember, if every American has the right to bear arms, that's over 300 million people with guns. That's a massive army. If you want to try and take them on, you better have some firepower. So the best way to take on their army is to disarm their army in the first place and make them defenceless. And I think that's the agenda that's going on in America. But I want you to have a listen to this guy and tell me honestly, if you were the brother of someone who had just shot and killed 50 plus people and injured hundreds, would you behave like this? So have a listen to this.
And your brother, he's retired, is that correct, or not?
I mean, he didn't have active employment, I guess. He
lived over here for some period, right? He lived in Central Florida?
Public record. Yeah, he had a place in Melbourne. Mm-hmm. And you'll find out I helped move him back to Mesquite.
What did y'all do? What was the business that you had together?
I'm not going to go there. Once again, it's all, his life is an open book. It's all in the public record. There's nothing. Once again, there's nothing. He went to college. He had a job. You'll find out exactly. There's no reason for me to tell you all this stuff. It's because there's just not. I mean, and I've got this like really bad headache right this minute. But there's nothing. I mean,
the weapons.
Find out who he got the machine guns from. Where the hell did he get the machine guns? I mean, you'll find out, he had a couple of guns, but they were all handgun, legal. I mean, he might have had one long gun, but he had them in a safe, and there's...
No, folks, I'm going to cut that short. You know, you need to see this guy's facial expressions and the way he's behaving on camera as well. Trevor, now, did you watch this video earlier on?
I did, yeah.
What did you make of this guy?
His reaction is...
Do you think it's a natural reaction for someone who's just been told your brother's just killed 50 plus people and injured hundreds? I don't. I mean, to me, he's a crisis actor. And that's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
It wouldn't be my reaction, put it like that. And it's very odd. And, you know, there's so many of these events happening now. It's just, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, this one seems to be the worst one now in American history. Not that it's the worst massacre in American history. I mean, if you want to talk about massacres in the American history, let's bring in the American Indians into the equation. You know, you're really talking some major massacres there. But I mean, in modern American history, what we know is people going postal with guns and stuff like that. This seems to be the worst one so far. You know, and it didn't take him long there. I think he was about 1 minute 15 seconds into the interview where he mentioned it. Where did he get the machine gun from? Now, no one told him that it was a machine gun that was used. But yeah, he mentioned the machine gun. That's just something that I observed. But you know,
did you see the video I sent you?
I didn't watch it, Trevor. I haven't had a chance to.
Yeah, there's somebody that was at the actual concert. It was an open air concert, right?
Right.
Now, I haven't looked into this only an hour ago, so you know, but it's just one of the videos that's doing the rounds. There's a lady at the concert, and she's recording events as they happen, and she's actually saying she's actually can see the gunfire.
Yeah, I have the video up now. It's Las Vegas. I really don't see anybody actually injured.
Yeah, and she says that's what the actual video. That's what the lady says. And I can't see anyone. There's people running, but she's there and she can't see any blood.
Well, you're going to run if you hear gunfire or what you perceive to be gunfire or an explosion. You're going to run the other way. Now, I've seen there's ads running over in the UK now at the moment, and the nature of the ad is if you are caught up in a terrorist incident, don't film it, don't take photographs, run, hide and call the police. Now, I can't help thinking, why did they not want you to film it? It's because they don't want you catching anybody like a crisis actor. I mean, if you remember the Manchester bombing, there was video footage and photograph evidence of police officers getting changed up a side street into what looked like terrorist garb, because one of the guys who got changed, he had a beard, he put on a load of combats, and then the next morning in all the headline newspapers you see this guy lying on the ground who had allegedly been shot dead by the police, and yeah, he looked identical to the policeman who just stepped out of a van the night before.
Yeah.
So you know, when you see stuff like that, you have to question these events.
It's the world's a stage, Mick, isn't it?
It is a stage. It's a massive stage. But they're getting brazen about it, aren't they, Trevor?
Yeah, and they're coming one after another. It's hard to keep track of them.
Like even in our own media here last week, we had reports of the Gardaí monitoring an ISIS cell in the west of Ireland.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm saying, you know, I think what they're doing is they're trying to predictively program something and program your mind into accepting, you know, if it happens here, well, you know, we're just as vulnerable as anybody else. Do you know what I mean? This is what they're trying to soften us up to.
Yeah, and it's... You know, it's all about, as you know, an agenda.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, I can hear you, Trevor, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, I mean, going back a couple of weeks ago even, I went to a concert over in Liverpool. It's over in the UK for a weekend, my wife, and, you know, like it's your bags are searched, it's, you know, a queue now, it's like going to an airport, you know.
Mm. It's like that in Croke Park. You're not allowed into Croke Park with a haversack on your back anymore.
That's it. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Trevor. Yeah, unfortunately, you keep cutting in and out. But look, we get to the end of the show anyway, and I'll sort all this out in the editing process.
Sure.
When I put the podcast up, there won't be any gaps, folks. So if anybody does want to listen back to the show, feel free.
This Skype forced me to grade it there this evening. It could be that, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. You know, Skype can be quite finicky. I mean, don't get me wrong, when Skype works fine, Skype is brilliant, but you know, you take the good with the bad, I suppose, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's just the way it is.
But another thing I find, though, more and more is that, obviously, you know, it's like the Big Brother society, isn't it, as well? Like, I mean, everyone's paranoid, you know, watching everyone else, and, you know, you're always being watched, and if you're not being watched by the NSA or the Gardaí.
I put a video up there last week. I don't know if you've seen it. I think I put it up on the World You Don't Know page. I certainly put it on my own profile, I think. And it was of Chinese traffic cams. Someone in a monitoring station. He filmed this on his phone, so he was filming a monitor, like a screen, and it was a street scene. Big busy junction, cars and people bustling all over the place. But every single one of them seemed to have these ID tags following them around on screen. You know, and I couldn't help thinking, is that going on here? You know, I mean, you think of all these selfies they want you taking. You know, everyone's taking selfies on their phones, and you know, your whole life is online now. Most people's lives are online, and there's no getting away from it. You know,
it all goes back, and it keeps I keep getting. You know, it's this Orwellian kind of nightmare, isn't it? I mean, if you look at the Catalonian scene there the last year or two, like just look at the clothing of the police, you know? That they're dressed
robots are dressed like.
Yeah.
Commandos.
It's straight out of the book 1984.
And they're dressing like they're here now as well. If you look at the riot squad here, that's exactly how they dress.
That's right. I mean, remember up the water meter protest from about a couple of years ago? You know, there was riot squads at the ready.
I mean, I wonder now is even our government, I mean, they're a de facto government anyway, but are they going to condemn now what happened in Spain? You know, I mean, the people wanted a referendum. It was a democratic vote amongst the Catalonian people, and the Spanish government didn't like it, so they wouldn't accept it.
Yeah.
You know, and something similar happened in this country back at the time of the treaty, if you remember. I mean, the 1918 election, there was a 32 county mandate to form the Dáil. The British said, sorry, that's an illegal assembly, we can't have that. And if you don't accept this, we'll send in the troops. But yesterday, the Spanish didn't wait, they just sent them in.
I just wish that the Irish people would show more of that spirit that the Catalonians were showing there yesterday. But, I'd like to think that it's because... You know, people are standing up against tyranny and, and all that. But to be honest with you, I don't know enough about it to comment really, because it's something that I haven't looked into. Again, it's only been, the kind of topic of conversation the last 24 hours or so. I don't know the history of it. You know what I mean?
I mean, the history I know of it
is just there's no, when you look at I'm sure you've seen some of the videos of the police brutality.
I have,
it's just shocking, isn't it?
I mean, it's unbelievable. But I mean, we've seen that here as well, Trevor. We've seen it here on the streets of Dublin. That kind of brutality.
Yeah.
You know, we're on Garda Síochána. I mean, they're meant to be guardians of the peace, and there they are breaching it by backing people across the head with batons.
That's right, and the court.
And we did say, I mean, it's happened. We've seen what happened with the Jobestown trial. You know, that's all collapsed today now. I mean, that was on the media again today. The state have withdrawn all their claims against these people in Jobestown. I mean, they were peacefully protesting. You're back again, Trevor, yeah. You were gone again there. Oh, there's someone definitely doesn't want me and you talking to each other tonight for some reason.
I look at all that as a positive, people around the world, they're rising up. I look at that.
Do you think, though, Trevor, do you think the New World Order is crumbling?
Well, it is. I mean, if you look at the bigger picture, even with the Brexit vote, there you have Catalonia. It's like people are standing up against the big EU superstate, I think even here we would hope. So that brings it back as well. Hopefully something like the Open Minds conference will kind of help that process along to kind of that this is kind of, to bring in people as well, and people that are kind of waking up to.
And are you hoping to? I mean, the chances. I mean, I've heard this said before about these conferences. You usually get the same people turning up to them. Listening to the same stuff that they already know and stuff like that. Yeah. Do you hope to have a few new faces there this year that wouldn't have attended something like this in the past?
Yeah, I mean, so many people have said, I haven't after the first one. I didn't find out about it, didn't know about it, and yeah, I mean.
And did you get a lot of that after the last conference? People coming up and saying,
I got a huge amount of it, and there's so many different topics and subjects that that are gateways into kind of the deeper stuff.
Yeah,
people can come in at a certain level and interest in a certain subject, and then kind of gain the knowledge on the bigger picture. So yeah, I mean, it's not easy, but you kind of have to keep plugging away, and where everyone come together as well that is kind of waking up to this stuff.
Can I ask you as well, and I don't know if anyone has asked you this before, but what was the feedback from the staff and the owners of Dooley's Hotel? How did they say anything to you after the event, how it went and how they thought about it?
Yeah, well, my contact in Dooley's was, she's been fantastic, and kind of saying to me, like, she has a kind of a private interest in the kind of conspiracy stuff, and her sister's mad into it, and
so she knew where you were. She knew where you were all coming from then.
Oh, she did, yeah, right. She did, but she basically wouldn't, one of these people like that wouldn't come out probably publicly and say it. It was kind of, she kind of have an interest in a kind of private way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like with the first conference, it all went off so smoothly. As you know, like there was no trouble at it.
There wasn't. There was no trouble whatsoever.
No, there wasn't one incident. And like the whole thing about it is like it's the overall experience. I mean, when we come together as even people that are awake, and the more that people that come together, is it creates a great energy, and everything is energy. And once that happens, then there's a vibration that goes along with that. Because the hairs are standing up in the back of my neck for 2 days. Not only during the conference, but for weeks afterwards. You get a great buzz out of it, because then you're not. Hello, can you hear me?
I can, Trevor. Yeah, you went again there.
I hear a kind of click.
Yeah, that's what I do hear. I do hear the click and then you go.
Yeah. So basically, what we're just saying there is, it's the overall experience. Like when we come together, it creates an energy and a vibe. Because I was buzzing for weeks after the first conference. And
did you, when it was all over with then and you had nothing to do, did you find that a bit depressing?
I suppose it was in a way, but I mean, the first one was was difficult in a way, because it was kind of the first time you do anything,
Well, yeah, true enough. You didn't know what to expect, but I mean...
Yeah, and people don't know who you are, where you're coming from, but once it was kind of done, like, there was so much work put into it that it was kind of a relief more than anything else that it had gone without a hitch, And then I was kind of like, straight away, I mean, we'll have to do another one, But, so as I mentioned earlier... Like,
and can I ask you, how soon after the end of the last one did you get together and say, come on, we'll do this again?
It was more or less kind of...
Straight away?
Yeah, I mean, right. It was kind of the thing where over the summer, there was so much work put in over the summer to get speakers and that we have, and the lineup, and get everything sorted, and go with the third day as well. So it was kind of exciting to kind of organise that. It was kind of easier to do, because obviously when you do something a second time, it's always easier.
Well, that's true, very true, yeah.
So I was like, we kind of knew the structure from before, going to use more or less the same again. So again, it's something to look forward to, and yeah, hopefully, I mean, we're not just and we can do a day in the street maybe, or a couple of days, to talk to the general public and kind of do.
Try and garner some interest and get people.
Yeah, I mean,
get them aware of it, I suppose.
Start ask questions and see, do people have an open mind? Can people open their minds a little bit? Because we do live in a closed mind society overall, but people are starting to kind of open up to this information more and more, I think.
I think people are waking up, and they are waking up exponentially compared to what it was when I got into all of this stuff like 10 to 15 years ago. There was nobody in there that I knew personally who was remotely interested in any of this kind of stuff, so I felt very isolated. But I don't feel isolated anymore, because you'd be talking to just taxi drivers, people in the shop. People do know what's going on now. They know there's something horrible going on in the world.
A good answer I have, I mean, a couple of people have said to me, kind of knocking it or whatever, debunking it, and I say, listen, well, it's an open minds conference. Feel free to go and organise a closed mind conference if you want to. But this is, what I mean, this is an open minds conference. It is what it is. And, and as well as that, it's not about agreeing with every word that every speaker says.
And I wouldn't expect anyone to anyway,
I mean, even me, I don't. I mean, it's about, what is it, the quote that it's about...
It's about entertaining opinions without necessarily accepting them.
Exactly.
That's all it's about. You have to find your own truth in all of this anyway.
Exactly. And some speakers will resonate with some people more than others.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's always the way it's going to be. Like, you're never get, like, I have people as well, one or two said to me, oh, this and that. I says, look, you're never going to get 18 speakers that you're going to like every single one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always going to be some, well, I don't like this and I don't like that. But overall, I think it's a good mix and there's something in it for everyone.
I think it's a very good mix now for the next one, all right, most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good mix. And so there's going to be good fun as well.
And
like,
that's what it's all about. If you're not having fun, you're not doing it properly, Trevor.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I have come to the end of the show, Trevor. I've got about a minute left, and I want you to plug the website and let people know where they can get tickets.
Right, so the website is openmindsconference.com. So that's minds, plural, an S. So if you have mind, it goes to the Denmark, the Danish Open Minds page.
Right.
So openmindsconference.com. And all the information is on there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you've got about 30 seconds left there, Trevor, so if we can...
So I'll plug it in. So it's openmindsconference.com.
Okay, openmindsconference.com.
Yeah, you get all the bios of the speakers on there and the program as well. And you can get tickets at https omic2.eventbrite.ie. So you'll see it on Facebook. I mean, you'll see the link
going onto the Open Minds Facebook page, yeah.
So tickets are very reasonably priced, and there's an early bird offer there available at the minute as well.
Oh, that's good. So people want to get a bit of a discount.
You can get separate tickets for single days. If you just want to go for a Friday or just a Saturday or Sunday, there's tickets available just for a day ticket.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, you can get an all-weekend pass and also day tickets as well.
That's brilliant. Well, listen, Trevor, I have come to the end of the show, and thanks very much for coming on. Sorry about all the intermittent technological tinkering that's been going on. There's nothing I can do. But listen, I'll edit this out, so when I do the podcast, it'll be seamless anyway. I'll edit all these blank gaps out, folks. So it'll just seem like a seamless conversation between the two of us, and I'll do my best with that. So anyway, Trevor, until the next time, you take a handy, and thanks very much for coming on to the show. All right, Trevor. Thanks very much. Talk to you very soon.
See you, Mick.
See you now. Bye-bye. Bye. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that was Trevor Eivers. Unfortunately, as you could hear there, folks, we had an awful lot of intermittent cutouts there. There's nothing I could do. Thanks to the listeners who text in, let me know about the trouble and stuff like that. Anyway, folks, this has been The World You Don't Know. And remember, the world is full of great people. If you can't find one, be one. Talk to you all very soon.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret society, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings.
Breaking humanity, one soul at a time. This is the World You Don't Know radio show with your host, Nick O'Connell.